Little bit of senior Vulcan happening into it. Let's see, are we live yet? Maybe we're live. I don't know. There we are. Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's happening? All right. So welcome to today's live stream. We are going to be talking about 5 weird tricks that actually work to make you feel better right away, without waiting. That is super important. You know, when I first got into fitness, before I was a fitness person, you know, younger in my life, back then, I wasn't playing sports. You know, I was never a jock in high school, none of that stuff. So getting into fitness for me was very much, I wanted to feel better. That was my number one goal. I want to feel better. And I started like a lot of people start out. I went into a gym that had lots of equipment, and I got a gym membership, and I spent my time on the treadmill just kind of like looking out over the weight room going, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do any of this, so I'm just going to keep walking on the treadmill, right? And then I did something that was truly life-changing, and that is I got a personal trainer. But before it became life-changing, I want to share with you a little bit of a frustration that I had with this first experience. People who have heard this story before know that overall it was a positive experience in general, but there was a very distinct point of frustration that I recall. I asked for the training, and the coach says to me, okay, what are your goals? And I said, I want to feel better. I want to feel better. Okay, cool. So you want to lose like what, 20, 25 pounds, get toned up, look good in a bikini. And I'm like, that would be fine, but my goal is to feel better. Okay, cool. So, you know, like we'll get you down, we'll slim you down a little bit, get you toned up. And he kept on this narrative of what I was going to look like after this training, which, to be fair, most people who get personal training, that's what they want out of it at the beginning. I get that, right? But at the time, I was very frustrated because I was like, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth, my man. I want to feel better. I don't care what that looks like. And truly, I didn't know at the time what training would do to my body as far as like, would it make me skinny? Would it make me buffed out? Would I look like one of those weird roided out ladies that, like, if you Google search images for bodybuilding, would it make me look like that? I didn't know, and frankly, I didn't care. All I wanted was to feel better. So feeling better is a totally legit goal, all right? Feeling better is super important. And it can be a goal in and of itself. Now, this is not to say that your vanity is invalid. If you have vanity goals, you absolutely should pursue those goals. If you want to lose weight, gain weight, maintain, but get buffed out or toned out, those are all fantastic goals. And I'm not dogging on people who want to do those things for themselves, not by a long shot. I think those goals are fabulous. But in my particular case, all I wanted to do was feel better, okay? And that's a lot of people I work with. And truth be told, you can start feeling better, physically better, right away. And that will help you on your exercise journey, which is going to give you the longer term benefits, really, you know, sustainable, more fortified benefits of all this stuff. So y'all know I am a fitness trainer. I got into this business because fitness did make me feel better. Changing my nutrition, lifting weights, all of these things in the long term had profound effects on both my mental and physical health. I stopped having panic attacks. I stopped having chronic pain. I was more energetic. All these things. Yes, they all happen. But before all of that, some of the things that I wish somebody would have told me to start feeling better right away, I'm going to tell you right now, today. And some of this advice might seem a little cliche, so why aren't you doing it? Right? Okay, so here we go. Tip number 1. And we're gonna do this in order of what takes the least time to what takes the most time. And all of these tips today are going to be feeling better without exercise or diet, right? Because exercise and diet is a lot of work. So we're going to talk about the weird tricks that you can do for right now, today, that will get you feeling better, that are actually good for your body as well as your mental state. There's a lot of things that we can do to feel better that are maybe good for our mental state in the short term, but not good for our body in the long term. Like for those of us who medicate with food, right? And I include myself in this camp. Like if I want to feel better right away, I know one way I can do that is with some delicious candy corn. Yes, candy corn is my favorite candy. Don't make fun. Each to its own, right? So the first tip, the very first tip, what I want you to do right now, you can do it right now. You don't even have to wait. We're gonna feel better that right now, 2:08. By 2:09, you're going to feel better, right? Breathe. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Do it again. Breathe. Fill up those lungs all the way. Fill them up deep. Breathe all the way down into the base of your lungs. A lot of us, even if we're remembering to breathe, we're breathing up here. We're breathing shallow, right? We want to breathe all the way down into our lungs, into the diaphragm. So all the way down here. Deep breaths, like you really mean it. All right, this does amazing things. It not only gets oxygen in your system, which every cell in your body will thank you for, will reward you for. It calms down our nervous system. So if you were like just scrolling before you found this live video right now, if you were scrolling through the social media and the political environment's got you fired up and everything's like crazy right now, just stop and breathe. And this is why coaches are always saying, don't forget to breathe, right? But that is absolutely one of the fastest ways to feel better. If you are stressed out and you're like, man, what's wrong with me? Maybe I want to like stress eat, or maybe I want to do, before you do anything else, before you, call for help and panic and do everything else, if you are just feeling that pressure, stop and breathe for a minute. Deep, deep breaths. This is one of those weird tricks that actually works super fast. So there's no reason not to do it, okay? Breathe. All right. Next trick. This one takes about 3 minutes. I would say 3 to 5. So the shorter term ones here are about a change of state, right? So if you're in a rut, if you're like bearing down into that swirling little vortex of just being grouchy, maybe your posture started slumping and you're just like, ugh. You know, have you ever been on your cell phone and doing something on your cell phone and you accidentally switched it to your camera somehow, and you see a picture of your face and you're like, right? If that's you right now, then these first couple of tips are for you. We want what's called a state change or a pattern interrupt. What we want is to change immediately what our state of being is. Switch it up a little bit. So the next one is to put on a good song, whatever you think is a good song, by the way. Like if you're into Spice Girls or Suicidal Tendencies or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as you love the song. And we live in a beautiful time in the world when we have access to so many songs right at our fingertips, so many. Listen to some good music and just move. I won't even say dance. Because I know a lot of folks who I work with are not dancers. Some of y'all are, and that's awesome, right? You know how to do it. But if you don't dance, at least move to the music. Get a good head bob going. Get those shoulders rolling. Just jam out to your tunes. Headbang to it. Tap your toes. Move to your music for 3 to 5 minutes. However long that great song lasts. Get it stuck in your head. Get that song stuck in your head and move to your music, and you will feel an instant change of state. Sometimes the music doesn't have to be happy music. Sometimes it can be angry music or sad music, and you will still feel better, okay? So if you're feeling lousy right now, and this includes feeling physically bad, right? A lot of times people think of the just breathe or dance to some music as like mental tricks, but you will feel physically better too. You know why? Because the brain and the body are part of the same system. Okay? We think about them as being separate in Western culture, but they're not. They're the same. You can access one from the other or the other way around, which is super cool and very convenient as well. So if we want to make our body feel better, we can make ourselves mentally feel better. If it's easier for us to access through how we're feeling mentally, then go in that route. Choose the easiest route. If it's easier to make your mental state feel better by accessing the physical part of your body and getting physically active, moving, feeling better, access it through that route, whichever one's easiest. You can do either one. So that's the really cool thing about that. So think about what is your go-to song right now. Might change from day to day, but keep it queued up. Keep it queued up on your phone and keep it ready to rock and roll. Whether that's K-pop or thrash metal or whatever you're into, doesn't matter. Guilty pleasure songs is a term that I hear get thrown around a lot, but yeah, don't feel guilty. Just do it. My cat's saying hi. Hi, you want to say hi? Caught you. This is my cat. One of my 3 fur baby cats. Yes, this is the professional cat. She has professional black on white toe beans and very professional mustachio, and she says, "Don't hold me. I am not for showing. You have the door closed, and I want out." All right. Cat needed a state change of state, moving around. Okay. Change of scenery. Yes. So breathing, dancing, those are fast, right? 1 minute of breathing, 3 minutes of moving to your favorite music. I have dance written down, but I know a lot of y'all don't dance. That's okay. We won't call it dance. I don't want to freak anyone out. Okay. Next up, this one takes a little bit longer. And for some of you, this is a really hard one, so we're going to spend a little bit more time on it. But again, start with the easy ones. Don't start with the hard ones, but we're going to talk a little bit more about this one. Sleep. Sleep. One good night's sleep or enough sleep in 24 hours, and you will be feeling better in a day. I have 2 children who are now adults, but when they were toddlers, and I'm sure any of you all who either have children or have babysat children have gone through this. There's a point in the day, and it's a little bit different for every child, but there's going to be a point in the day, especially when they're in that toddler phase, around 2, 3, 5 years old, something like that, in that range. There's going to be a point in the day where they become entirely, diabolically unreasonable. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what treats are provided, no matter what toys are given, no matter what requests are acquiesced to, that child will be unreasonably grumpy, maybe throwing tantrums, maybe just... And you know what happens next? Some of you know what happens next. When they are just in the throes of feeling the absolute worst, and they've put you through absolute bloody hell as you're trying to figure out how to help them calm down, then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and they're asleep. Right. They needed a nap. They threw a little mini tantrum. They're always at their absolute worst. Kids are at their absolute worst right when they're at their tiredest, when they need sleep the most. That is when kids are at their absolute worst. And you know what? You never grew out of it. Hate to break it to you. You thought you grew out of it, but you didn't. Okay? Adults are also at their absolute worst when they are sleep deprived, when they are tired. Okay? So getting enough sleep within a 24-hour period can be a game-changing event for somebody who is under a lot of stress. Now, I know that is easier said than done for a lot of people, so that's why we're going to take a little deeper dive. We're going to talk about it more. But really, if we're looking at these 5 tips in order of how long does it take? 1 minute, breathing. Breathe for a minute. You're going to feel better. 3 minutes. Listen to some good music. Move to the song. And 1 day, 24-hour cycle, get enough sleep. There is a learning module in Nerd Gym Secrets for those of you who are members of the Nerd Gym called the Nerd Gym's Sleep Fix. And this goes over some of the most proven out techniques for getting better sleep. So if you're a Nerd Gym member, you don't have to take notes during this part. You can just go into Nerd Gym Secrets and check it out. If you are not yet a member, you should join. Go to www.thenerdgym.com. We use Patreon as a sliding scale membership option so that you can choose the membership that is right for you, and you'll get access not only to the sleep materials that we're talking about today, but live nutrition classes, live exercise classes for strength, for flexibility, for cardio, as well as our challenges and lots of other fun stuff. But let's talk a little bit about sleep. So sleep is vital. Sleep makes you smarter. Sleep makes you younger. Makes you look younger. Yes. So sleep is super important, not just for our mental health goals, but also for our vanity goals. Okay. Sleep is going to improve your metabolism. For those of you who have fat loss goals, if you are not getting enough sleep, I hate to break it to you, you're going to have a rough road. And for those of you who have fat loss goals and you're not ready to get into some serious diet and exercise yet, start by making sure your sleep is outstanding. If you're going to get enough sleep, things change hormonally in your body from getting enough sleep, okay? And they've done good studies, particularly with some senior citizens in an assisted living. And the reason why I like, I'll try to find the links to these studies and put them in the private group or in the whatchamahoo's here. But essentially what's going on with these, the reason I like these studies is because a lot of lifestyle stuff like sleep and nutrition is very difficult to track for adults who are living on their own, right? But if you have like a senior citizen assisted care facility where they're tracking these things 24/7, then it's a lot easier to track. So they found that with seniors who they were able to get them more sleep, get them enough sleep, just by virtue of them getting enough sleep, eating the same food as their peers and everything else, all things being equal, they would actually lose waist inch circumference. In other words, they wouldn't just lose weight, but specifically the belly fat that is carried in that spare tire section around the middle. When you have high chronic stress, cortisol buildup, it's going to give you that little spare tire around the middle, okay? Which makes perfect sense. If you're stressed out, then there's probably some famine going on, at least historically speaking, not in modern times, but so it's your body's defense mechanism. By giving your body enough sleep and reducing stress and reducing those chronically high levels of cortisol, you are going to begin to lose excess body fat just by virtue of being less stressed. So if you have body composition goals, you should do this. If you have mass gain goals, like putting on extra muscle, you should also do this. Your body's sleep time is the time when you're going to do a lot of the rebuilding. So if you're tearing down your muscles with a good hard workout like you're supposed to for mass gain, but you're not getting the right amount of sleep for the rebuild, then you're just going to become more and more susceptible to injury over time. And this is the other thing about sleep for everybody. It's going to reduce your risk of injury, especially as you get into an exercise program. So super important physical reasons, like when we're thinking, again, when we're thinking of this Western idea of body mind is separate, even though we know it's not. Lots of good physical reasons to get more sleep. Mental reasons are huge too. Sleep improves motivation. Okay, if you are tired and cranky, you're not going to be motivated to do much of anything, are you? Right, exactly. So we want to make sure we're getting enough sleep so that we can feel motivated to work towards our goals, so that we have the energy to work towards our goals. And it's not only just quantity of sleep, but quality of sleep, and we're going to talk about both. All right, so one way you can improve your quality of sleep is doing a room check, like looking around your environment. Is your room comfortable? Okay, is it dark at night, or do you have a bunch of lights and things on? Is your bed clean and comfortable? Is your bedroom dark, cool, and quiet? Do you have enough room to spread out? Okay, and are you in an environment where you're not being disturbed by people and things? And this is a really tough one for people with pets, for people with kids, for people who sleep with their significant other, because sometimes it takes a little bit of tough love to create your space in those circumstances, right? If your pets are interrupting your sleep, then you have to train them to not interrupt your sleep. If your partner snores, you might need to find a solution for that, whether that's you getting earplugs or having them sleep in a separate room. Okay, it doesn't make you love them any less. My husband and I sleep in separate rooms, not because I don't love him. I love cuddling with him when I'm awake, but when I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping. Don't bother me when I'm sleeping. I don't want to be anyone's pillow while I'm sleeping. I don't want to be disturbed while I'm sleeping. I don't want to hear somebody snoring when I'm sleeping. When I'm sleeping, I'm off grid anyways. I will give you love and affection and cuddles, and this goes for my pets too. Love, affection, cuddles, quality time. I will give that to you when I'm awake. When I am sleeping, I am offline. Okay, so keep that in mind if you are in a position where you do need to start creating that time and that space for yourself. I know it's especially difficult with kids, with spouses, with pets who have become accustomed to cuddling up to you. If that environment does not help your sleep, and some people sleep better with the cuddle, I get it. I happen to not be one of those people. Some people sleep better with the cuddle. Be honest with yourself, though, and be honest with your partner and whoever else might be disturbing your sleep so that you can get the best sleep possible. Beyond that, try to make sure that any little lights, even like in my room, I've got lights from my computers and stuff. I have to make sure that everything's turned off so that, and I also wear a sleep mask to block out excess light that comes in from outside because I live downtown in an apartment complex and I don't have heavy curtains on my window, so I do have to keep all that in mind. So get your sleep environment in check. We want to make sure we have a comfortable bed. Humidifier. Whoa, okay, so humidifier makes a huge difference for some people. So this past couple of months, I guess, I was noticing the air quality's been crap in Tucson right now. We've got the smoke from the wildfires in California making its way to us now. It's been incredibly dry and hot this year. And one of the things that's been absolutely game-changing in our household, not for me, but for my husband, is the humidifier, okay? The one rainstorm we had, we actually had two. We had two rainstorms this year. The one rainstorm we had, I noticed that afterwards, so my husband had been coughing a lot every night. I didn't know if it was allergies or if it was a stress cough or what was going on, but I was hearing him cough every single night, which was of course keeping me up too because I was worried about him, and we're both mildly paranoid, oh my gosh, do you have the COVID, right? So he's coughing every night, and I noticed when it rained, all of a sudden he stopped coughing. Wasn't coughing at all. And then it started to come back as the air dried out again. So I put a humidifier in his room. And guess what? He stopped coughing again. Okay? So for some of y'all who have respiratory stuff, especially for those of you who are living in Tucson or other dry environments or areas where the air quality is really poor, try a humidifier. That was really game-changing to help quality of sleep. Quality of sleep for both of us. Okay. So, sleep mask, earplugs. Now with the earplugs, they make one specifically for sleep. You're not supposed to have your ears entirely plugged for the whole night. But if you have a lot of extra noise in your environment, you may want to check out looking for that. Extra set of clean sheets. Again, this came up recently in our household. My husband has one of the cats who always sleeps with him, our adorable little orange fur baby, Haruki. But Haruki barfed on my husband's blanket a few nights ago, and my husband did not have a spare blanket, which means that he had a terrible night's sleep because he was cold all night with no blanket. So make sure you have an extra spare, especially if you have children or pets. You always want to have extras to be able to do that. Light blocking curtains are a great idea. Temperature control, warm spectrum lighting. So warm spectrum lighting, blue light that we get in through our eyes will mess with our circadian rhythm. Okay, so in the morning time when you first wake up, or when you get morning light from the outside, it is on a blue spectrum. Okay, this helps give our cortisol a little bump, which we want in the morning, by the way. Cortisol is not always a bad thing. I know we talk about it as being the stress hormone, but we start off our day with a little cortisol bump, and then it should taper off gradually as we get towards the evening. And part of what bumps it in the morning is the blue spectrum light from outdoors, okay? So you are, whether you realize it or not, you are light sensitive, okay? And then, unfortunately, what happens for a lot of people is that we're in front of the computer in the evening, or we're getting blue light in from screens, and we're keeping those cortisol levels high by way of the light that's coming into our eyes. Same thing with the lighting in our room. So you'll see behind me, I've got my little warm light that I switch to in the evenings. I turn off the cool lights. I also have my glasses, my warm spectrum glasses here that I will wear in the afternoon and evening while doing computer work to make sure that I am not getting extra blue light into my eyes, keeping me up at night. So that is a great way to reset your circadian rhythm. If you're having difficulty falling asleep at night, try this, okay? Try this if you're having difficulty falling asleep at night. Change the lighting. Okay, light and sound control near your bed. A do not disturb sign can be helpful if you've got roommates or children or whatever, setting that precedent for, hey, I'm offline right now, I'm sleeping right now, I will give you my full attention when I'm in my waking hours. Okay, schedule. Make sure that you have 8 hours carved out of your schedule for sleep in 24. Now, I know that there's going to be somebody, I don't know who it is yet, somebody's going to pop in the comments either later or whenever saying, I don't need 8 hours of sleep. First of all, you probably do. The more sleep deprived you are, the more cognitively impaired you become. So if you are going to argue with me that you don't need sleep, you're basically, it's like the toddler who says, I don't need sleep, I don't need a nap, right? You probably do. There is a very small percentage of the population, I do concede that there is a very small percentage of the population that can get by with less sleep, like 6 hours or something like that. But most people need 8, 9, or more. Depends. It depends in part on the quality of your sleep once you get there, what kind of stresses are on you both mentally and physically during your day. If you have an especially stressful or challenging day, you are going to need more sleep, right? So when I say carve out 8 out of every 24 hours, just at least make sure you have those 8 hours carved out. Okay, even if you're not going to be able to sleep all of those 8 hours right away, get it tooled so that you have 8 hours available for sleep. If you don't have those available, change your freaking schedule. It's super important. There's no reason to torture yourself. Doesn't matter where you are in your life, whatever kind of ambition you have, there's no reason to torture yourself and have less sleep, okay? But if you can't get 8 hours in a row, don't fret, okay? Humans, historically, are polyphasic. Meaning, it wasn't until the advent of the electric light and the 9-to-5 work week that we were actually sleeping a solid 8 hours at night. Typically, there's historical reference to the first and second sleep, which is, people would take a nap during the afternoon, they would wake up, they would go back to sleep in the evening, when the sun sets, and then it wouldn't be uncommon for people to wake up during the middle of the night and do some stuff, and a lot of retired people end up actually going back to this polyphasic, very historical sleep pattern, and they think something's wrong with them, and there's nothing wrong with you if you're going back to this sort of polyphasic sleep pattern. So there's a few different ways you can hack it here. You can do the 8 hours all together. You can do 6 hours plus a 2-hour nap. You can do a 3-2-3 split. You could do a 4-4 split. Just make sure you have, as much as possible, a consistent 8 hours carved out for yourself. For myself, with my work schedule, I have an inconsistent sleep schedule, but I do always carve out 9 to 10 hours for my sleep, not 8, 9 to 10, because I have a physically active job. My job is either physically active or I'm mentally active, so it's behooves me to get more. Number 3, your routine. A nighttime routine cannot you cannot overestimate the benefit of a nighttime routine. Having the same sights, sounds, smells leading up to the sleep will train you to do that. And this is especially important if you are also simultaneously trying to train kids or pets or loved ones to leave you alone at night. Having the nighttime routine not only signals to you, but to the people around you and or animals around you what's going to happen next. And the more everybody knows what's going to happen next, the less stress, the less friction you will have. So if you have, for example, an alarm that goes off, I have an alarm that goes off when it's time for me to get ready for bed, not just when it's time for me to go to sleep, because I want to know when do I need to start my evening routine, because usually I'm totally enveloped in something having to do with like brainstorming our next challenge for the gym, or how do I get more members, that kind of thing. And if I am interrupted by the alarm, like, hey Melanie, it's time to start getting ready for bed, then I can start going through the motions, wrapping up what I'm doing. Having the same sights, smells, sounds leading up to bed. So whether that routine for you means a bath or a shower, the same type of tea, like a cup of tea before bed, herbal tea, non-caffeinated, obviously. Reading, listening to an audiobook, all those things, as long as it's consistent, that will signal to everybody around you what's happening next, and signal to your own body and your own self what's happening next, which will allow you to get settled down. All right, so your get to sleep routine can include any number of things, and there's a bunch of stuff to brainstorm on here, but the main thing is we want to make sure it's the same each night. And things that we don't want to do before bed: don't check email, don't look at social media, don't watch an exciting movie or show. This goes for most people, but not everybody. I can fall asleep during any movie. My husband, if he watches something exciting before bed, then amped up, right? Doesn't want to go to sleep. Don't eat sugar before bed. Sugar, and if you can help it. Like, again, we're talking tips today that don't require changes to nutrition. But if you can avoid sugar or carbohydrates right before bed, that will actually help you sleep better. Sugar and carbohydrates are better utilized through movement, and your body kind of knows this, so they can make you a little bit restless. Same thing with alcohol. Even though alcohol is a sedative initially, your body burns those alcohol calories through movement. So if you're consuming those calories right before you're not moving, not only will they likely get stored as fat, but also your body will feel inclined to do more movement even though you shouldn't be. You should be sleeping. So we want to avoid that. Caffeine, obviously. Video games, again. Anything digital, ideally through the eyes, we want to tone it down. Okay. So these are all great ideas. Like I said, these slides, all this information, if you are a member of the Nerd Gym, you can go ahead and find those in our secret website. If you wanted to create a sleep plan for yourself, highly encourage that. All right, so let's do a quick recap here. So we talked about feeling better in 1 minute, breathing, feeling better in 3 minutes, listening to our favorite song and moving to our favorite song, feeling better in 1 day. Get enough sleep. Get enough sleep per 24-hour cycle and feel better in a day. Feel better in 1 week. Okay? Water. Hydration. I guarantee you that if you focus on your hydration for 1 week, you will notice some amazing, remarkable, outstanding benefits. Now, why did I put this 1 week instead of 1 day? Well, a lot of people aren't going to necessarily feel the difference right away from 1 day. Sometimes you are. Sometimes you are going to feel the difference in hydration in 1 day. But one of the most common complaints when I ask people to start drinking more water is, oh, now I have to pee all the time. Or I don't like the taste of water, or I have to pee all the time, or blah, blah, blah. Your body has an acclimation period where it's not going to be used to dealing with or actually making good use out of the extra hydration you're going to be putting into your body. But I guarantee you, by the end of the week, if you're really focusing in on getting those 3 liters or more per day, that you are going to notice a difference in your mood, in your skin, in your coordination, in your flexibility. Okay? Your body is like 65 to 70% water. If you don't like the taste of water, put some stuff in it. I've got limes in mine today. And I just keep a pitcher handy in my room, and that way I remember to drink it. Yeah. Or I'll carry around a gallon jug with me. Obviously, I went through this one already. So 3 liters is my general recommendation. Drink 3 liters of water per day for a full week, and you will feel significantly better. Okay? One of the ways, as we're getting into these longer term solutions here, that you can track whether or not you're feeling better is you do sort of you put a subjective feeling onto a scale of 1 to 10. So you can say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, today I feel like a 1. I feel lousy. I feel like heap and pile of crap. And then you track that morning and evening, like, oh, by the evening I felt like a 0. And then by the morning of the next day, I maybe felt like a 4. Better, almost neutral. Then later on 5, neutral. Then the next day maybe back down and then back up to a 7 by the end of the day. So you will notice these upwards fluctuations in your mood, in your stamina, in your ability to do things by way of hydration. So if you are going to try to feel better quickly, focus on hydration for a full week, okay? The average person sweats between 1 and 6 liters per day, between 1 and 6, okay? So if you are sedentary in a very cool environment, you might be able to get away with just 1 liter of water, but if you live in a hot, dry place, if you're physically active, any of those things, you're going to need more. You're going to need quite a bit more. So 3 liters, kind of cutting it down the middle, that's about a gallon. That is what I recommend. Do that for 1 week and you will feel better, okay? Hydration, 1 full week, you will feel better. And then the final thing I have on my list is walking. And I know some of you say, hey, wait a minute, Melanie, you said you were going to give us 5 tips for feeling better that were not exercise? Walking, in my opinion, is not exercise. I know I'm not going to win any fans for saying this. Walking, in my opinion, is not exercise. Okay, if you've got two working legs, walking is not exercise. All right, let me put it that way. If your legs are not working, if you've got maybe you've come off of a hip replacement or a knee replacement, or maybe you only have one to work with, or none at all. If you have none at all, you can just ignore me for this part. if that's where you're at, just ignore me for this part. I'm talking to the people who have two legs and aren't using them. You people, okay? For you people, you need to walk. You need to use those legs every single day. That is what the bod was built for. You were built for walking every single day. If you're not doing that, it's like not breathing, right? This is why we put it on the list. So number one on the list was breathing. And it's one of those things like, well, of course we're going to breathe. We're not going to forget to breathe. We would die if we didn't, right? We are going to breathe sometimes. But deliberately breathing will get you feeling better in 1 minute. Deliberately walking will get you feeling better in about a month, okay? This is, again, this is the slowest of the ones that I put out here today. Regular walking routine is going to get you feeling better in about a month. If you are just starting off on your fitness journey and you just started walking and you're like, I walked today and I feel like crap, that's okay. That's kind of normal, actually. So you're going to actually feel better the more you do it. Okay, you're going to feel better the more you do it. So those are my 5 tips for feeling better right away. The 5 weird tricks that actually work. Number 1, breathe. Number 2, dance or move your body to good music for 3 minutes, okay? Number 3, sleep. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Number 4, water. Drink your water. And number 5, get out for a walk, okay? Get out for a walk. Do some, what I would consider like low-level, light movement. Not all movement needs to be exercise. Sometimes we just need to move. So if you've got 2 working legs, walking is the easiest way to do that. If you don't have working legs, then you will do some other kind of movement. Arm movements, torso movements, something slow and rhythmic. Slow and rhythmic and longer duration. If you're doing the cardio challenge with us right now, you know that we are shooting for over 5,000 steps for our step count. Under 5,000 is considered sedentary. So we're shooting for 5,000 to 10,000 depending on what individual goals you have set for yourself. And those are great goals to have. So start feeling better right away. Like I said, when I first got into fitness, it wasn't to get skinny. It wasn't to look good in a bikini. It wasn't to attract more boys. It's not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to feel better. So if you're trying to feel better right now today, start with those things. Start with those things. And then if you need support, if you need help, if you need friendly, body positive people to help you love your body every step of the way as you continue your journey into feeling better and feeling amazing physically, mentally, increase that strength, increase that positivity, increase that confidence, go ahead and join the Nerd Gym. We are an awesome community and we're all online. We are the gym that comes to you in your living room. So we take out the hardest part about going to the gym, which is going to the gym, right? We're going to come to you and bring you all the stuff that you need to feel great without any need for any equipment. Just you yourself. It's all you need. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions, you can pop them in the comments. If you're a member, message me on Patreon. Let me know what you want me to talk about in future episodes of the live stream.